Are skin tints the new tinted moisturizer, or are they the exact same thing? We're gonna talk about skin tints today because they're super popular right now, and I'm gonna share some of my favorites. The overall goal of skin tints is that you're going to basically get the look of your skin, but better. So it's just gonna slightly perfect your skin without looking like you have makeup on. Something you'll also notice with skin tints is that they tend to be light coverage. You're not gonna get super full coverage. A lot of them have a dewy finish to them. A lot of them have skincare benefits to them. So that's ingredients, or maybe they have a SPF to them. So there's, like a skincare aspect to it as well. And the main purpose really is to get an even looking skin tone. That's what you're really getting at the end of the day with these. But there are cons to that, and those include if you have any kind of texture to your skin, whether that is acne, whether that is old scarring, whether that is flakiness to your skin, skin tints will really make all of that stand out. Instead of smooth, it makes it look worse. So in a lot of ways, you have to have pretty smooth skin to pull it off in the first place. The second thing is that it's not long wear. You're not gonna get full coverage. At the end of the day, you might end up looking kind of greasy if you're not constantly powdering it down as well, unless you have really dry skin. That said, I think a lot of these, especially the ones I'm going to talk about, have come such a long way that they've really perfected these formulas to absorb into your skin and really have this nice finish where you're not going to worry too much about transfer onto like clothing and everything. But to me, there's always going to be a dewy factor, and for some people that just might not work. Okay, so let's talk about my favorite skin tint that I think is truly, like when I think skin tint, this is exactly what comes to mind. That product is from Shiseido. This is a Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Tint. Right out the gate, what I'll say about this one is that it is for people who don't want to look like they're wearing makeup. If you're a person who's like, I hate wearing makeup, I really don't want to wear makeup, but I do feel like I need a little bit of coverage, that's what this product is. It looks the most natural in my opinion. It has like the most medium kind of finish to it, more of that natural, I guess like skin finish is what I would call it. And what I mean by that is it's not too dewy, it's not too matte, it's just in the middle. Like your skin's gonna feel pretty hydrated, but it's not gonna have that super, super glowy look to it. It's just going to look just healthy and pretty and your skin but better. That is truly what I think you get from this one from Shiseido. As far as the skincare benefits that this one has, they really talk about like hyaluronic acid in here, so it's really hydrating for your skin and plumping for your skin. But then it also has SPF 20. To me, SPF 20 is kind of like a, take it or leave it SPF. It's not necessarily enough coverage, but it's always nice to have. And whenever I see a little bit of SPF in a product like this, I always know it's just gonna give a little bit more of a dewiness to my skin as well, a little bit more of a glowy look. So I do like that. What really stands out about this product is that they really tout their technology where it adjusts to your skin. So it adjusts to like the climate that you're in, and it adjusts to your skin. So throughout the day, it stays in place, but it also gives that natural finish just throughout the day. You're not gonna get super dewy by the end of the day and greasy looking. You're not gonna look dried out. It just looks really, really natural. And I'd say that this one is really consistently natural looking. It comes in 12 shades, which, it can always get a little bit better, but as far as texture goes, it does also feel really light on the skin. So you can see it has a little bit of color to it, but as you start to spread it out, it does look very natural, and it feels the most like a serum of all of my favorite skin tints that I've tried out. So you can see, it just kind of makes my skin look just a little bit better. Just enough coverage, doesn't look super, super shiny and dewy, but doesn't dry down matte either. It just feels perfect. Next up is this one from Lancome. This is Skin Feels Good. This one to me is not my personal favorite. There's something about it that I just don't personally love, but I know a lot of other people love it, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. First off, for me, I just could not find the right shade for my skin tone. They do have 15 shades. There just wasn't the right one for me. I do feel like this one oxidizes just a little bit as it sits on your skin. This one also has SPF 23 in it. Again, it's not an SPF number that really matters to me. There's definitely added protection whenever there's an SPF like that, but I still feel like you have to wear your real sunscreen underneath this one. What makes it interesting to me is the texture of it. So when you first apply it to your skin, it looks more like a real foundation, but as you start to rub it onto your skin, you immediately feel what's called a water break, meaning you can feel actual water, like liquid. It's not actual water, but you can feel the liquid that it has in here that makes it very hydrating for the skin. So it gives it a very light finish to it as you apply it. For people who have like combination skin or oily skin and want to try out a skin tint, then this might be the way to go because this is very, very light and super hydrating, almost like water, like you're putting a liquid onto your skin. And you can even see as I put it on top of my hand, the way it's drying down, it actually like forms little water balls on top of my skin. For somebody that has dehydrated skin, you might love this because it will absorb better into your skin. I keep my hands super moisturized. I keep my skin super moisturized. So for me, it actually kind of sits on top of my skin. And I think that's why I personally don't love it. But I can see this working out really well for other people, especially because it doesn't leave you too dewy looking, even though it has this kind of a finish to it. This also has a really strong fragrance to it, so you have to like fragrance. I actually think it's a nice fragrance, but I always like to call that out. And again, you know, this one isn't for me, but I can really see this working out for somebody who has just dehydrated skin. If you feel like you just look like you're, you know, just kind of like sucked dry a little bit and you need something to plump you up, that's what this one would do. This one from L'Oreal, this is their Skin Paradise Water-Infused Tinted Moisturizer. This one gets so much love on social media. I think it's because the price is really great. This is like half the price of all the other ones that I'm talking about, maybe even more affordable than some of the other ones I'm talking about. And it really does achieve that skin but better look to it. This also has SPF 19 in it. Again, not full coverage sunscreen to me, so I just kind of like take it or leave it. It's like a little bonus to have some extra protection for your skin. The ingredients that they tout are aloe vera and witch hazel, which to me is not really that big of a deal. I wouldn't be looking for that necessarily in my skincare products. So for a product like this, I don't really care either, but it does have a very nice texture to it. This one comes in 14 different shades. This shade is too dark for me, but I still went ahead and started using it just so I could at least try it out. What I like about this one is that it's kind of a hybrid of these two products. I feel like if they had a baby, you would get this L'Oreal Paradise one. The texture is very light. It looks like a foundation when you first apply it, but as you start to rub it into your skin, you get that same kind of water break feel that you get from the Lancome, but you don't get those water droplets to it. So it's a little less hydrating, but not necessarily in a bad way. I actually think it might be better because of that. And then as it starts to dry down, you get more of a natural skin finish. This though dries down a little bit more matte than the Shiseido one does. So if you feel like these two sounded really good to you, you might actually want to pick up the L'Oreal Paradise because it's really like a hybrid of these two. It has that skin finish to it. It's a little bit more matte, but it's also very, very light in texture and you can feel that water break the way that you get with the Lancome. Let's actually do some swatches on my hand so you can see the difference when it dries down. So I'm gonna put the L'Oreal Paradise right there. I'm gonna put the Shiseido right here. And I'm gonna put the Lancome a little bit further down. Okay, so I think I got a little bit more of this one. But okay, so now I'm gonna spread this. Remember, different shades, not all of them are the correct shade for me. I'm gonna let these dry down for a second and then I'm gonna show you what they look like afterwards. Okay, so about 5 minutes has passed and these have dried down and you can really see the difference, especially in person you can see the difference even more so, but this is the L'Oreal. It definitely has a very nice satiny finish to it, but it's a lot more matte than the other two. This is the Shiseido. Like I said, I think this looks the most like healthy, dewy skin, which is why it's my favorite of all the skin tints and the one that I would say if you're brand new to skin tints, that's the one that I would suggest to you for sure. But you can see it has that glowy finish, but it's still very light and natural looking on the skin. And then there's the Lancome, and that one, don't mind the patchiness. I don't think I gave it a fair shot by putting it at the very end of my hand. But you can see here it has the most luminous finish. Like it is the most dewy of all three of them. But at the end of the day, they all feel pretty light, like serum textures. All right, so the next two skin tints I'm gonna talk about are ones that I really love, and they also really walk the line of being your main sunscreen. To me, I think it's really important to wear a separate sunscreen that has nothing to do with your makeup. I don't mind tinted sunscreens that have like a little bit of tint to them, so it just, you know, doesn't look like it leaves a white cast or anything, but I don't consider that to be my makeup necessarily. I always like to separate the two. But if you're one of those people that needs your sunscreen to also be your makeup, I totally get it. It's all baby steps. I'd rather you wear some sunscreen than not wear sunscreen, then these are gonna be the ones for you. The first one is from Tower 28. This is SunnyDays, their broad spectrum SPF 30 tinted sunscreen. They actually call this a tinted sunscreen, but for people who don't wear any makeup at all, this is truly like, this would feel like, I can see this feeling like a foundation to somebody. So I wouldn't necessarily say that this is just a sunscreen. It is SPF 30, which is the minimum to me when it comes to sunscreen. What I really like about this is that it gives you that nice coverage for your skin, that makeup coverage, the foundation type coverage to it. But it's not so much that if you cover your entire face, you don't look like a clown. When you put this all over your face, it doesn't make you look clownish or like you're wearing too much makeup. It looks really pretty and natural and dewy looking. It's a really nice finish for your skin. So for me, you can get away with using this all over your face and using it as your only sunscreen as well. This one just barely passes the test. This is also great if you want to have something that you reapply during the day that has a little bit more makeup coverage. Again, this one is really, really great. I would say this is like number 2 after the Shiseido for having the most skin-like finish to it. It's a little bit thicker and a little bit more dewy in my opinion, and that's why it's number 2. Shiseido's number 1. So you can see the texture is still light, but it's not as serum-like. It's a little bit thicker than that because it has some grip to the skin. And I think that's why it's like one step away from being a true full-blown foundation and why it's not serum-like to me. It has a little bit of grip to it, but I actually like that because to me that makes it stay on your skin a little bit better. There are 14 different shades to choose from, but I do think that these shades are a little bit more, I don't know, there's more variety in my opinion. I feel like more people will find a shade that works for their skin tone with this brand. Next up is this one from Ilia. This is a Super Serum Skin Tint SPF 40. This one is the product that really kind of turned me on to skin tints. I wasn't really sold on it at first, and I think it's because I wasn't sure if I liked this dewy finish that I was getting from it. It almost felt like it was oily to me, and that's why I think skin tints can be really tricky for people, because if you're not sure what you're getting with it, it's really confusing. I was like, is this a sunscreen? Is this a foundation? Is this an oil? What is this supposed to be? This is really the one though that got me kind of started on this whole skin tint concept. I know that like Glossier really started the skin tint concept, but to me that one was like for 15-year-olds, whereas like this one felt like it was geared more towards somebody my age. This has niacinamide in it. This one also has really nice skincare ingredients to me. Like when brands really like tout hyaluronic acid in their formulas, I'm like, it's probably gonna have that in there anyway because you need some kind of a humectant to make it really nice and smooth. Whereas this one really went for true skincare ingredients in it. There's niacinamide in here, there is squalane, which I love, but it is an oil. And then there is hyaluronic acid in here too to make it more hydrating. And then as far as SPF 40, to me now we're getting warmer as far as like, that's a little bit closer to what I'm looking for when it comes to true sunscreen protection. This one also comes in 30 different shades, so I think there is a lot more variety. Now, all that said, I do think this is very specific to people who have drier skin. I do not think that people with oily skin would love it. I could be wrong. If you've got oily skin and you love this stuff, please tell us in the comments, because to me, when I first used this, it did feel too greasy for me. I had to play with it a little bit. I had to, you know, kind of decide how I want to wear this. If I were going on like a beach vacation where it's gonna be really humid or like tropical climate, I wouldn't choose this one, because even for me, as a person who tends to lean a little bit drier, my skin is drier, when I get to a climate like that, my skin is no longer dry, and this then turns into too oily of a finish for me. So you can see even as I've put it on, it has that real, it like glistens on your face, and you have to be strategic about how you powder it down, in my opinion. But you can see as it starts to dry down, it just has this beautiful glowy finish. This is perfect for the winter time when your skin is really dry. If you have more mature skin, this is what you're gonna put on if you wanna have something that just makes you look like you are so dewy and so glowy. That's when I would recommend this one. Again, I'm gonna do some swatches just to kind of give you context about how these finish. So I'm gonna put the Shiseido right here. I'm gonna put the Tower 28 SunnyDays right in the middle. And I'm gonna put the Ilia right at the end. As I put my hand down, you can see the Ilia is more liquidy, SunnyDays is right in the middle, and the Shiseido just really stays in place. So again, the Shiseido has more of a serum feel. As you start to spread it, it feels very, very light in texture. And then the Tower 28 has more grip, so it feels a little bit thicker to me and has more coverage and a little bit more of a dewy finish than the Shiseido. And then the Ilia has a lot more of a dewy kind of finish to it. So I'm gonna let these dry down and then show you the results. All right, so now that these dried down, it's actually amazing. Even just to like still see this, even though I know this, it's so interesting to me to see the finish. So again, this is the Shiseido. It just is more, it's closer to skin to me. Like it really is your skin, but better. Then you can see the Tower 28. It's right up my alley as far as that dewiness that I love. It gives you that dewiness, that luminosity, just enough coverage. Again, before becoming a true foundation, to me, it's just really pretty. And then there's the Ilia. Again, it's a beautiful dewy finish, but it's so dewy. Really, in my opinion, this is just for people with dry skin. And then the last thing I'm gonna talk about are, to me, foundations. They kind of like take from the whole concept of skin tints. They give you that dewiness, that beautiful glow to your skin. They're still lighter in coverage than your full coverage foundations, but they are real foundations. These will feel like you're wearing makeup. My favorite of the three is this one from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Beautiful Skin Foundation. This comes in 30 different shades. I have seen so many people talk about their love for this because it is so nice. It really is. You put this on your skin and you're like, oh, my skin looks so pretty. If you like to have that really glowy kind of look to your face, this one to me is perfect. It gives just the perfect amount of medium coverage to your skin. So if you have any imperfections, if you're like me and you have, you know, like dark spots that you're constantly trying to manage, so you have like uneven skin tone and everything, this is the product that I love. There are 30 different shades. It's long wear. The brand says it's like a 16-hour wear, which I never wear foundation for that long anyway, any makeup. But what I like about this is that it feels like it has a grip to it. And I think that's really what stands out the most about these types of foundations nowadays, is that they've really come a long way. Back in the day, if you wore a foundation that had any kind of a glow to it, it was never gonna work on your skin. Like it wasn't gonna stay on at all. Whereas these foundations that have a glow, they really do stay on. And I think that's really the most impressive thing about any of these glowy foundations nowadays. It really is foundation, as you can see, but it has that beautiful glow. It also has that blurring effect to your skin, meaning that it just makes your skin, you know, like look like it's a little bit more perfected. If I'm gonna go out and meet up with some people for like a nice dinner or something and I wanted to look glowy, this is the foundation I would choose. All right, so the next one is from NARS. This comes in 36 different shades. It's a true foundation in that you're gonna get medium coverage, it's buildable coverage, it is a little bit more long wearing. The thing that makes it a little bit different though is that it's not as long wearing as the one from Charlotte Tilbury. This one has a little bit more of a liquidy feel to it, and it doesn't have that grip that I was talking about with the Charlotte Tilbury. It feels a little bit more like a serum texture, which I think some people might prefer, but it gives that medium coverage, like I said. So it's really pretty on the skin. It's a little bit more dewy than the Charlotte Tilbury, and I think that that might be a plus to some people. Whenever I wear this and I like post, you know, like something on stories, I get so many messages from people saying, what did you do to your skin? So I will say that, like, there's something about the dewiness of this that just makes you look so youthful and so nice, and I don't know, it's just like really healthy looking. But in turn, because of that dewiness that you get from it, you also, like, by the end of day, you also kind of get like a greasy look to your face too. Not anything that you can't fix with powder, honestly. It's so pretty and it's so much lighter in texture. Just much more dewy. Last is this one from Fenty. This is their Eaze Drop Blurring Skin Tint. This comes in 25 different shades as well. I also think there are pretty good shades to choose from. So if you have a hard time finding a shade in any of the other ones I was talking about, I feel like there are some really good ones in this one and in the Tower 28. You can see the texture is also like a true foundation. It's a little bit more liquidy. I feel like it's more like the way the NARS one feels. Like as far as the texture goes, it's kind of a hybrid of the Charlotte Tilbury and the NARS one. Like it's not super grippy, but it's not super liquidy either. It feels kind of just right. And I would say for people who have more combination skin, this would be the way to go, because the thing that stands out with this versus the other two is that it has more of a matte finish to it. Like it's more, I wouldn't say matte. Matte is the wrong word because we're still getting dewy and we're still getting that healthy glow, but it's just not super shiny. Like it definitely dries down a little bit and stays in place. And I think that actually gives it more of a blurring effect to your skin than the other two do. And just because I've been doing it for the other ones, I'm gonna actually show you the difference in the texture and the dry down of these foundations. We're gonna start with the Fenty right here on this side. I'm gonna put the NARS right here. Try not to pump too much. Oh, it always comes out a lot. And then the Charlotte Tilbury right here. So you can see this is the Eaze drop. It's still lightweight in texture, but still has a little bit of grip to it. This is the NARS, a lot more liquidy. I mean, just even more glowy immediately as well. Wow, it's so much more glowy than the Fenty. It's actually like crazy glowy compared to the Fenty. And then the Charlotte Tilbury, you can see what I was talking about with that grip. It didn't even really glide down my hand that much. It didn't roll off my hand. You can actually even see it before they dry down, the big difference. But I still think the dry down matters, so I'll wait 5 minutes and then I'll come back and show you. All right, so they dried down and there is such a massive difference that I didn't even realize, like I was making these notes in my head, but I hadn't really swatched them next to each other until now. And the difference is really major. So the Fenty, you can see, is very, very matte compared to the other two. It's still a very dewy finish. I think for people who are used to a true matte full coverage foundation, the Fenty would be very dewy for you. So that's, you know, it's like all relative, but when you compare it to these other two foundations, it's really matte compared to those, but still a very nice skin-like finish. It has luminosity to it. It's very nice. This is the NARS, and now you can see what I was talking about when I say that it's more liquidy, it's a lot more dewy, and at the end of the day, you feel like you have to powder down a lot. That one gives you such a true luminosity, a glowiness to your skin that is really intense. So you have to have like, truly, like if you had any texture to your skin, I don't think the NARS would be that great for you, but it is so pretty. And then there is the Charlotte Tilbury, which is kind of right in the middle. And I think that's why it's my favorite of all three of them, but I think all three of them are so nice and they just serve different purposes, but this would be more of like an everyday, if I want that glowy look, which you guys know I just always want to look glowy, that is what I would go for because it has that luminosity to it for sure, but it's just more in the middle, really. So it's a little bit more flexible for me. It feels a little bit easier to control during the day instead of having to worry about powdering down. I could probably deal with this kind of a glow the entire day, and it just has a little bit more of a grip to it. So it just stays better. It's a little bit more long wearing to me. So those are skin tints, AKA BB creams, CC creams, tinted moisturizers, and glowy foundations. If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments below. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm at Susan Yara, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.